Hey, my name is Gloria and welcome back to my channel. I live in roller skates now. I've discovered that my skates don't make nearly as much noise as I thought they would to annoy the neighbours, and I haven't taken them off for 4 days except to sleep and shower, so I'm going to be super good at these when we come out of quarantine, you know? Today I want to talk about a book that I got from my first book subscription box, which is it was actually my first subscription box, but it's also called the book subscription box, which is an Irish-based company which I hope is going to still be here whenever we come out of all of this. So I got a couple of books from them, some book goodies. I'll link the unboxing video upstairs. But I got this book out of that subscription box and I was very intrigued by it. I was very intrigued by the back of it. And it is called The Devil's Detective by Simon Kurt Unsworth. I'll just read you the back of it that I was so intrigued by. It says, "Welcome to hell. Solving crimes is the purpose of the information men, yet they almost never achieve it. And even when they do, the facts they scrape free are lost, buried again in the labyrinthine mess of the bureaucracy. When an unidentified, brutalized body is discovered, the case is assigned to Thomas Full. But how do you investigate a murder where death is commonplace and everyone is guilty of something?" I know, right? So this is basically a run-of-the-mill police procedural about a detective investigating a serial killer killing sex workers. It just happens to be set in hell with angels and demons and horrible, horrible things. The story follows the main protagonist Thomas Full, who is a human who was born in hell about 6 years ago and was assigned to be an information man, which is pretty much one of hell's detectives, hell being the overseers of hell, the bureaucracy. Why is that so hard for me to say? The bureaucracy being the sort of overseers of hell, and he works for them, and he's sent a lot of investigations that he marks as did not investigate and sends them back because no one really expects him to do much, or his colleagues, because there's so much death, there's so much rape, there's so much beatings and horrible things in hell because demons just do whatever they want. So it's sort of a boring job for him. He has no passion for it, he has no real interest in it, he just does what he's told. But sometimes he's given an investigation with a blue ribbon, and blue means that he has to investigate it. And at the beginning of the book, 2 angels come down from heaven to negotiate the exchange of souls between heaven and hell with other bureaucrats down there. And while they're there and Thomas Full is showing them around, he is assigned a blue ribbon to a case of a man murdered. His body is found and it's horribly mangled, and there's something different about it. This isn't just an ordinary average murder, and there's something strange about it. And as Thomas begins to investigate this case, other bodies start showing up with the same signs, and as he gets closer and closer to the answers, as he becomes more bold in who he questions and who he asserts his authority over, which he has authority over all of the demons in hell in order to do his investigations, but he's never actually challenged them before because he never had any need to. But now that he does, the demons are beginning to be afraid of him, and the humans are starting to see him as their hero for being the only human to take on demons. So he has to try and figure out who's committing these murders and why they're doing them and how they're doing them, and it's an investigation that is going to change hell and could possibly get him killed. So the actual hell that I'm talking about, it isn't the fire and brimstone hell that you might be imagining. I was definitely imagining more just people being endlessly tortured and souls screaming, and there is some of that, but in this book is basically like a poverty-ridden city. There are humans that farm food, there are humans that work in factories, there are humans that work in brothels that are tended by demons, and hell itself is surrounded by a huge wall that keeps out the sea of limbo, and the sea is basically a sea of souls, and there are demons that occasionally, not often enough, fish souls from the sea, and they give them flesh, and they come into hell and are assigned one of these jobs to do. Obviously Thomas Phil was assigned as an information man. One of the other punishments of hell is that you know you're in hell, you know that you've sinned, but you don't know what your sin was, and you have no way of knowing how to atone for it. So there are people who go around torturing themselves, pretty much thinking that it will get them into heaven. The only way to get into heaven is to be elevated, and that's why the angels come down. They're negotiating who they're going to elevate and who they're going to bring up with them. But unfortunately for the people in hell, they're randomly picked names, they're randomly selected and by the bureaucrats, and there's no way of influencing this, so there's always just enough hope to keep them going, but never enough to actually help them. So it's painful and it's depressing. So The Devil's Detective was really entertaining for me. I started it off and I was sort of like, oh, well, this isn't really hell, is it? But then I got over myself and I actually really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the focus on the hell of bureaucracy and the hell of just doing what you're told, and you know, questioning things and not being given answers and stuff. It's gory, it's gross. I mean, it is set in hell, so there are a lot of descriptions of horrible bodies and murders and what demons do to humans just because they can. The usual crime procedural tropes are all here, with the detective who sort of lost his way in his job and doesn't really feel much about it anymore. There's the serial killer who goes after sex workers, although these are male sex workers and they just happen to have demon clientele, so that's a little different, I suppose. There's the higher ups that know more than they're telling him, and that have their own strings to pull and are being pulled along themselves in a lot of ways. But I think he did a really unique story on this. He took those tropes and he used them in a new way, which I think is always the best way to do it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with tropes as long as you try and put your own little spin on it, and I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the character of Thomas Phil. I enjoyed his journey. There's a definite character arc there where he goes from being just a mindless worker to doing things for himself and doing things on his own and creating a name for himself. And there's a lot of layers to the themes of heaven and hell, of right and wrong, of the world that he created in this book. There's sort of a feeling among all of the people in hell that they deserve to be treated better, which you're kind of rooting for them, but you're also like, but it's hell though, so, you know, do you want unions for the workers, but you're in hell? So it's kind of, it's interesting. You want them to be treated better, and you know, I've no idea what these people did. I don't know why they're being punished or anything, but it is, yeah, it's really interesting. There are a lot of layers, there are a lot of nuances in the book and in the power structures in the book as well. And there were a lot of twists and turns in this book. Again, a staple of the sort of crime procedural books. There's a lot of, you think you know who it is, he thinks he knows who it is, and it's not. And I wasn't expecting the killer to be who the killer was, and I wasn't expecting all of the twists and turns in this, but I would definitely recommend this book if you want an easy read. I got through it in like a day, I think. It's just over 350 pages, but it was so interesting and it was so different, and I really enjoyed it. So that is my review of The Devil's Detective by Simon Kurt Unsworth. I'm very glad I read it. I'm very glad I got it in that subscription box. I would pick this up if you're looking for something new, a bit different, a bit quirky, if you like crime procedurals but you're kind of tired of the same old human stuff. This is definitely a good book to pick up. So thank you for watching. If you would like to give me a birthday month present, my birthday is next week. I'm 27 years old. So if you would like to give me a free present, you can like and subscribe down below. I'm hoping to reach 200 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm working to make a lot of fun videos, a lot of new creative ideas coming this way, and I have a lot of fun birthday videos to do for next week as well. So you can see me tomorrow in the next book review. Thank you for watching.